Hey everyone, welcome to Into the Core podcast with myself, Linda. It's really exciting to be back because it's taken a while, and usually when I curate these podcasts, I'm the best of the best right here. So before we get into it, let's get into the core. Into the core.
Get into it.
All good things in Africa and beyond. Into the core. Into the core. Into the core. All good things in Africa and beyond. So I'm really excited because today we have an amazing person. He is doing so much for the fashion industry in Africa. And I got to meet him while I was based in Ethiopia. And it was just an amazing person to actually watch and see where he's come to. His name is Skander Negasi. He is the founder, CEO of ASFW. If you don't know, he's going to tell you a little bit about himself. But Skander, welcome to Into the Call podcast.
Thank you so much, Linda. It's a pleasure being here.
I'm really excited because I've been watching how ASFW has been growing. Do you want to tell everybody just a little bit about ASFW and how you have, how the creative spark into creating it?
Yeah, the ASFW stands for the Africa Sourcing and Fashion Week. It's Africa's biggest textile and leather exhibition. And it promotes the entire value chain from the beginning of a product up to the finish. So the finishing, including the designers and so on. We cover this event in 3 locations these days. One is in Addis Ababa, that is the 11th edition. The second biggest one is the one in Nairobi. It's the 5th edition this year. And the third one is the one in Dakar. And it's going to be the first.
So what brought you into creating ASFW? What was the need behind creating the Africa Sourcing and Textile Week?
I'm based in Germany, and we have different exhibitions about the textile, leather, fashion here in Europe as well as in the US market. And we have realized that we do not have African participants, or not so many African participants taking place here. And attending those events for 2 reasons. One is they don't know whether they're going to fit here and they are ready for the European or the US market. And second is they have a lack of funds to travel all the way to Europe and the US market. And the third is sometimes of a visa issue. And then we said, okay, why don't we do it the other way around and create a platform in Africa where those people can be, and lets the buyers and the Western countries, Asia, US, they also attend those events, especially those who are really interested in working with African textile and fashion industry.
Oh, that's amazing. I like how you did the flip on creating something that you thought is very special. With that, I mean, how did you build? Okay, so on the back end, you're building it here in Africa. Was it easy to find your partners? Was it easy to get into that and creating that ecosystem? So how did that work out for you?
Linda, every time we do an event in Africa, whether it's a textile event or any others, we make sure that the government is involved and that those associations of that particular industry are involved. So we were lucky having the Ethiopian, the Kenyan, and the Senegalese government wanting this specific event. And of course, the associations, they benefit from such an event. They get more members, they get more attraction, and so on and so forth. So everybody got on board, including our main partners, the GIZ group from Germany, ITC from Geneva, UNIDO, and many other partners. And that's how we started 11 years ago in Ethiopia. And it was a small event those days, and now it has grown to a bigger standard. Yeah.
You know what? I'm gonna counter that because when you came into Addis, and we were there, I think it was for the first one, right? It was not small at all time. You had so many big players, coming to the table, and I really admired how you got that done. Um, I wanted to find out from you, um, right now, as how the industry is playing. How do you think how is Africa looking right now on a global perspective? Is it looking like it's something that is like everybody's excited for it? What is your feel? What is your take on the fashion stance in terms of Africa?
If you see Africans looking at the global stage, is everyone is interested in being international. All African, whether they are designers and or manufacturers, they're looking into the European and the US market, and even nowadays into the Asian markets. They're looking for Japan, for China, having partnership there. And so, if you look, it from the other way around, like how Europeans, Americans, and so think about Africans, it's a bit different. They are interested. They see Africa as the next destination, and they believe in Africa as a continent, but they are a bit hesitant in terms of trusting designers and so on, and whether they will be capable to work on with them together on a longer run. It's always beautiful to have a company, African company, whether it's a designer or manufacturer, doing a job for a European or American company. But the question is, will you be able to sustain for a longer term and deliver the quality and the quantity the Europeans want? And that's how the Europeans have a bit of a how they are hesitant to work in Africa. But the ASFW has reached a situation where people trust this event and they know who is coming. They know that Africans who participate in SFW are trustworthy, and Europeans who come there are really interested in the Africans.
That's interesting, especially building that trust factor and also looking at how you're playing across the field in Africa. Between Nairobi and Dakar, what was the reason for the expansion of it? Why not let it sit in Addis? Was there a reason and a purpose behind that?
Yeah, if you see it from European point of view, for instance, you have those fashion weeks in Paris. You have a fashion week in Milan. You have a fashion week, and even in Brussels, and you even have Fashion Week in Berlin, and so. Although it's such a small continent, right? If you compare it with Africa, Africa is huge, and one event is not enough. If you want to do one very good international event that considers everyone, then you have to go to those different regions. And we have realized that in Addis, for all the 11 years, we were always lacking of East African community people coming to Addis Ababa for whatever reason. We always had the problem to get Kenyan on board, Rwandan on board, Ugandan on board, and so. And we realized that if you do an event in Kenya, those EAC countries would attend, and then there is also some other pulling factor in Kenya as well. So we are going to those places to have those people participating with us. Then the third step, because you can only do these steps if the brand is strong enough. So ASFW is so strong, and we had some requests from West African governments. We had done some of research with a few countries in West Africa, and we finally decided to go ahead with Senegal to attract West and North African. If you see Senegal or Dakar as a location, it's a connecting hub between North and West Africa.
Yeah.
And why it's so interesting is it's not only that Senegalese are so creative, or West Africans are so creative, but Dakar itself is positioned so strategically. You are in Europe. From Dakar to Europe, it takes you 6 hours, and you are in Europe by flight. If you go to New York, from Dakar to New York, it takes you 7 hours. So that's why Dakar is becoming an interesting point and a melting point for all these people as a meeting point. So that's why we have selected Dakar.
Oh, that's amazing. I mean, and very strategically and well thought out. Is there, just coming into the space of how you have connected, Dakar, Addis, Nairobi. Talk to me a little bit about some of your special collaborations. Are there magic moments that have happened before, where you have been like, oh my God, I can't believe this actually came together? Do you have moments like that have happened?
And I wouldn't say so, but there are several, I would call them wonderful situations with partnerships that we do. One of our major partner is the GIZ. They are with us at every event. They
Yeah.
support us in Senegal. They support in Kenya. They support in Ethiopia. We work very closely with the ITC, and they make a difference, right? Same with UNIDO, and so they make a difference in terms of the content, yeah, and then in terms of also supporting designers, manufacturers to attend at our event. And in addition to this, of course we work with those wonderful media in the regions, and designer groups, associations, and like groups, like organizations like yours, yeah, the Core Roundtable Talk. Such a collaboration is of benefit for everyone who is attending such an event. They get content, they know that they learn something, and for us, the most important part is that all these designers and manufacturers get business.
Yeah.
It's a major platform to make business, and when they make business, for me, it becomes like it's a wow effect for me then.
Of course, yeah, it becomes a happy moment. Just
Exactly.
speaking about that, when you are creating and having all these partners and everything, what is the importance of storytelling, especially within the industry? Because that's what loops people into understanding Africa and being in Africa, correct? So is that an important aspect for you, especially when you send an invitation to certain brands or to certain groups or certain partners? Is that an important part of what ASFW is doing?
Absolutely. Storytelling is the most important part. And so, in addition to quality, storytelling is so important because, especially Western countries or Asian countries, are more interested in companies, designers, manufacturers that have something to say, and they have where there is a story behind and where there is a culture behind. And because these people here in the Western countries, they have a huge department of creative people. Yeah. The whole day, what they are doing is creating something, traveling all over the world, getting impressions from whatever, and then going back home to Milan or Paris and so, and creating new designs and so on. So, but if you come as an African and say, I have a story to tell, and this is my culture, and this is how I did this and this, and this is how I became creative, and so on. And this is what the benefit is for you as a European if you work with me together. That's
Right.
what makes you important for such a Western company or big brands and so on. And these people are looking for exactly such people.
I think that's really important because even when I'm looking about, thinking about brands in Africa and who I want to bring to the table, especially when it comes to having the rhetoric of doing a roundtable or having a podcast, is always about what somebody has to say and understanding what their landscape is. So in terms of in terms of where people are going into African fashion, is there a way? What do you think about the investment? Because we're thinking about the business of fashion. Do you think that there's something missing, especially in Africa, in terms of that? Because there's a heavy investment if you're going to be in the fashion business. So, what is your take on that? Is there anything missing? What is missing?
I think investment is missing, and investment and risk taking. But I also blame the designers, to be honest.
Yeah.
Designers are always very creative, and they do beautiful stuff, and they do sometimes more beautiful items than here in Europe, and so on. But those designers are not willing to invest a little bit in growing. They always lack in funds. Most of them, not all of them, I have to say honestly, not all of them. You always have some very good international and
Yeah.
business oriented people, but most of them. That's how we see it at our exhibition. Every time we say you are good, you will fit to ASFW, just come. And they will say, "Oh, I do not have the fund." And then we say, "Okay, let's give you a discount. We will do sponsorship and so." But you can pay your hotel. They would say, "Oh, no, I don't have funds for the hotel." So then I ask myself, well, what is the sense? Yeah, what's the sense of these people growing? They can never grow if they do not try to invest a little bit to go out and show themselves to others.
I
And
understand that. Yeah.
about the storytelling, I want to tell you one story. What happened here with a designer from an East African country. I don't want to mention the name, but that lady, she was in Berlin at the Berlin Fashion Week, and I was going with a German minister, was going around this place, and we visited those African exhibitors, and he heard about their stories and so on and so forth. And then there was this lady. She had this wonderful leather bags, yeah, beautiful leather bags. And he asked her, and then at her booth, she had one plastic bag hanging there in the middle of all these beautiful leather bags. And he said, "What is that small plastic bag?" And it looked dirty and so on. She said, "You know what? This is how I started my business." And they didn't have money at home, and she was the oldest in the family, and she created that plastic bag, and she stitched it and so on for her younger brother to send him to school all the time with that little bag. She stitched by herself, sent him to school every time, and that's how she started to do bags. And now she's very famous.
Wow.
And this
I think
minister, what he told me is, "You know what? I'm going to visit this country, and I'm going to see her factory, and I'm going to buy a lot of bags from that factory for the entire ministry." That's what the minister said.
wow.
So that's
And
just
that is
about the storytelling. Huh?
100%. And that's basically what draws people in. That's a fantastic story. You have to tell me on the side, like, who this designer is. I really want to know. Speaking about designing and using all these amazing crafts, to get us into the spaces that we are and how we tell our stories. What do you think about tech and innovation? Are there things that you're looking for, especially in our space? Are there things that you really want to see us as fashion industry integrate? Are there things that you're exploring yourself?
I think the tech is something that will 100% come, and it's already starting. That's why we have the AI and the fashion industry. We have that topic at our next Africa Sourcing Fashion Week in Addis Ababa. So we have an entire slot talking about tech in the fashion industry and the influence and the impact of the tech companies and the technology on the fashion industry, because it's a bit dangerous what's happening now, and the AI can support you in your daily business as a designer, but it can also it can make you irrelevant, for others. But, those IT systems, they are starting to do their own designs and so. It's a problem for models, yeah, because nowadays, as you know better than me, you even have what do you call the catwalk on AI, yeah. Companies like H&M and others, they do this through AI. They don't need to hire models anymore, and it's happening the same with the designers. The AI will design all the outfits in the future. That's how it looks like. So you have to find a way to be so good that you cannot be, you cannot be replaced by an AI.
To create the, yeah, it's losing the humanity, the touch of it, even the culture of it. I mean, and I do see the relevance of it because I've seen a lot of designers fall into that trap, and then they lose the authenticity of who they really are and where they started from. So just, yeah, it's a very interesting landscape, and I can't wait to hear what they have to say about it, especially those who are dealing in AI. So, I'm getting into like my final questions, but I wanted to find out, in terms of impact, what do you see ASFW bringing to the board? What kind of impact do you want to impose onto all of us who have the pleasure of witnessing what ASFW is doing?
Yeah, the impact that we are targeting is jobs and business. To be honest, that's what people are looking. All these designers, they at the end of the, they want to feed their family. They want to grow. They want to be in a position to afford anything they want to afford, and so on. And the ASFW has managed in the past years to secure over about 50,000 jobs in the region. 50,000 jobs. That's
Wow.
not a small number. And that's our aim. We do not want to have this she events where everybody loves everyone and they meet and greet and leave and so on. So for us, it's important that manufacturers who come, they do business, designers who exhibit at our show make business. We have our fashion shows where we only invite buyers, investors, and high-level people to meet with those designers. It's a fashion show
Yeah.
that is invitation only, and it's only for those important people to make sure that those designers at the catwalk make business after.
Yeah, which is very important. And I feel
Exactly.
like if I was asking about even your parting words, because first of all, you're creating a lot of jobs, which is so important, and which is being taken away. If we track back into innovation and AI, it takes that away. So, in terms of a legacy project, how do you see ASFW being? This is definitely going to be a legacy project, but if you're looking at it, what's next? What's the next chapter for ASFW?
Yeah, what we want to do is we want to grow because, oops, there you are. You were gone for a while.
Yeah, sorry.
At ASFW, we want to grow so that the business in Africa can grow. You're here with me?
I'm here. I'm here. I can
You
see
can hear
you.
me?
I can hear
Yeah.
you. I can see you.
So yes, we want ASFW to grow, of course. So if that one grows, then the industry will grow in Africa. The manufacturing part will grow. The creative people will have more jobs and so on. And we want to have everyone together with us. We want to work with everyone, people like you, and people like all these fashion councils that are doing a hard job, a great job in Africa, all these associations of those manufacturers and so it becomes a platform for everyone in Africa and a meeting platform for everyone so that we can invite all the Western, all the Asians, all the Middle East countries to source from Africa, because this is the future. The sourcing in Africa will be the future. It's not going to be Asia. It's going to be Africa. And for that, they need to have a platform where everyone is there so that they can choose with who they want to work. And that's what Africa Sourcing Fashion Week is doing.
I love this for you, Skander, because I'm really excited. First of all, thank you so much for inviting me to be, to do my roundtable talk at ASFW. It is such an honor because I know a platform like yours is not, you know, we can't ignore you, and no one can ignore what ASFW is actually doing in terms of building the industry. And I'm really looking forward to seeing all these beautiful things that you've put together. Your team is fantastic. And I just really want to say thank you. I feel like for anybody who's going to be following the story, I'm going to be doing a couple of live feeds while we are there. And of course, we're doing our roundtable talks at ASFW, which is such an honor. And I just, thank you for even taking the time. I know you're a busy man. You've got government, you've got manufacturers, you've got the designers, you're dealing with so many people. And just having the time to speak with me was just, thank you very much.
No, it's an honor for us. We're talking with you, taking your time. That you have time for us, and it's an honor for us having you with the core table, the core roundtable talks at the ASFW. It means a lot of us for us. We are just the organizer of an event, but the event consists of people like you. Yeah, and we just put the pieces of the puzzle together. That's our job, to bring this and this and this. But without people like you, this event cannot exist. Therefore, you guys are much more important than us. We just bring everyone together.
I absolutely believe that. And you know what? I feel like there's brands that are going to be saying, Linda, why did you? And I said, hey, we invited you. So next year, if you don't come now, anyway, I'm so thrilled, and I really want to say thank you. And to anyone who's out there, watch the space, go and follow ASFW, Addis ASFW, Nairobi ASFW, Senegal, Dakar. We're coming. We can't wait to see what you have cooked up. I'm just really excited. This is such a thrill and an honor for me, and to many more collaborations.
Thanks so much. Likewise.
Thank you. Everyone else, follow the story, and we'll be telling you more. So make sure you follow us. And remember, it's Into the Core podcast. It's the Core Roundtable Talk. And we'll be bringing more. And there's a lot of business that needs to happen in Africa. So stay awake and watch the space. Thank you very much. See you next time. Thank you.
Bye. All the best.